guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I know this is a day late than I promised on Twitter, but I actually filmed a first version of this in my car yesterday, and it was just turning out so bad. And I'm like, you know, this EP deserves such a better review than this crappy one I'm about to put up. So today is my day off from work, and I'm going to film like 4 videos today, so I can get more up on my channel to like get that hype, all of that hype for the freaking Mania Part 2 leg of the tour coming up in the US. Today actually is the day that they are playing Reading Festival, and I have it all ready to go, like ready for the live stream. If y'all are watching this today actually and you want to know how to get that live streamed, I'm hoping to get it up before the festival, but you know, there's a good chance that I might not. But if for whatever reason it's still going on, let me know. I figured out how to do it with VPNs and fun stuff like that. So that little side note there. But today's video is a Lake Effect Kid EP dropped yesterday night. So it was technically Wednesday at 11 p.m. for me. I know it was a little bit later for other people. Exactly midnight on the East Coast. So obviously I stayed up for that. I had to work that morning at 6 a.m. So I was like, I'm not going to be able to sleep, and yesterday was very painful. Fall Out Boy just makes me crazy, and getting like 3 new tracks from them, 3 new bomb tracks from them, just literally like, it just made me like so happy. Okay, so let's go back a little bit here if you guys didn't know, but back in like July, I believe it was, Pete had a checklist. I mentioned this in a couple videos before about the Lake Effect Kid EP had crossed off on this checklist of things to do before this upcoming tour. So everybody was speculating, like, what could this mean? Like, is it just going to be the Lake Effect Kid track, like, updated, or are they just going to release it? Like, is it actually going to be a full EP? Nobody really knew. And so about maybe half a month ago, I don't remember the exact date, but Pete talked to a magazine, or actually it was like USA or something like that. But he talked to them and explained the Lake Effect Kid EP is going to be 3 tracks. The first track is going to be a reworked version of their demo from 2008. Welcome to the new administration.
Welcome to the new administration.
The second track is going to be a semi-new song, and the third track is going to be a completely new song. So that kind of got the whole fandom pretty hyped, if I may say. It was just so excited about it, and nobody really knew when this was going to get dropped. The only like hints Pete would give is like, oh, it's going to be dropped close to the Chicago date. And it was dropped 2 weeks before the Chicago date, which I'm perfectly fine with, and I'm hoping the reason they dropped it like now is because they're going to play some of it during the Reading and Leeds Festival, which would be awesome, and I'm so stoked for that. So let's start getting in with these tracks. Lake Effect Kid. Let's just say memory lane is sweet. Nostalgia is sweet. Oh my gosh. I got into Fall Out Boy around 2007, so I was a fan when the demo version of Lake Effect Kid actually did come out. Exclusive for their fan club, the Lake Effect Kids Club, which obviously I was in. And it was like a little like MP3 track. It wasn't even an MP3, it was just like an online track music thing. I don't remember exactly what those were called back in the day, but I remember spending hours to get this freaking mixtape on my MP3 player because I wanted to listen to it on volleyball road trips, like so bad. The first time we saw Alpha Dog was on that EP. Obviously Lake Effect Kid was on that EP. Our first listen into America's Sweethearts was on that EP. A song they did with Gym Class Heroes, which I believe Gym Class Heroes actually took and put on their new album, obviously without the Fall Out Boy part, was on that EP. And another couple bands that Pete Wentz had signed at that point were on that EP. I thought it was great. Unfortunately, the only song that made Folie from that EP was America's Sweethearts, as we know, which was my least favorite track on the entire mixtape, so I was a little bit disappointed about that. But we did end up seeing Alpha Dog on the Greatest Hits album, Believers Never Die, that they put out in 2008 before their in 2009 before their hiatus, but we never saw a full version of Lake Effect Kid, and that's like a huge fan favorite, and it's been a fan favorite for a long time, and it's crazy because it was an unreleased track, but people loved it. Like, people's screen names were Lake Effect Kid, people's, you know, whatever, like, YouTube accounts, like, people have Lake Effect Kid tattooed on them. Like, it was just, it really stuck with the fans, even though it was never, like, properly released. And so 10 years later, they released an amazing version of it, and I was a little bit nervous that they were gonna make it, maybe modernize it a little bit too much. As we know, Fall Out Boy isn't the band they used to be. Not saying that in a bad way, just the way that they come about making music now is just not the same. And this was better than the demo, in my opinion. I feel like that first instrumental section before the verses, the guitars are actually louder than in the demo, and Joe added a lot to the guitar solo. And I was even telling my boyfriend, I'm like, if they take out the guitar solo, I'm gonna be so pissed, because I love guitar solos, and like we're really in need of some as of late, Fall Out Boy. But Joe killed it with this guitar solo. The riff in this is just fantastic. The lyrics are reminiscent of Folie, obviously, because they wrote it during Folie. It sounds like something that from that era, and like my nostalgia is so hard right now, and honestly, like, I don't want to be that person that's like the band has to go back to that, because I want them to be able to do whatever they want. But if they did decide to go back to that style, I would be in literal heaven. Literally, I like cried. I absolutely love it. I hope they play it live. I'm praying, crossing my fingers, that they're going to play this live on the new tour. So far, it's number 2 on the rock chart as of the day I'm filming this video. I know I think it was like at 11 or 12 on the main chart as I'm filming this video right now, and that is so exciting. Second track on the EP, City in a Garden. Now this song is very reminiscent of something maybe on Folie, and it kind of gives me Favorite Record vibes in some places. But the instrumentation is strong. Patrick's vocals sound really good in this track. I feel like throughout the entire EP, his vocals are very distinct, and they sound like very, like I said, reminiscent of vocals of earlier works, and I think it's because there's not so much production put on them and so many vocal layers and all that stuff, which is insane. One thing I did forget to mention is that Sean O'Keefe, the producer of Take This to Your Grave and My Heart is the B-Side to My Tongue, produced this EP, and you can tell he did a fantastic job with the production on this. You could definitely tell they paid homage to the John Denver song. This name escapes me right now, but it's definitely like, not sampled, but it's definitely like in that vein, which is cool, paying homage to Chicago. I absolutely love the pre-chorus. Like, as you all know, bridges and pre-choruses, but the pre-chorus is fantastic. Like, I think ARTV mentioned this in his review, but like the chaotic drumming during the Take Me Home part, and then it kind of goes back into sync, is so unique, and I really like it. Definitely an amazing song. If this was on, it wouldn't fit on Mania, but if this was on Mania, this would definitely be one of my favorite tracks on that album. Fantastic, and I kind of hope that they go back into writing more songs like this, because this isn't as intense as like Lake Effect Kid was, but I think it's more instrumental, and it's more like band style than like a lot of the stuff on Mania. Like, I don't want to sound like one of those like fans that like is stuck in the past or anything like that, but like even like songs like Last of the Real Ones, and like this one, like I really like that kind of style from them as well. Obviously I prefer like the rockier stuff, but in my opinion it's a really great song as well. Third song on the EP, Super Fade. Now this one was where I got a little bit skeptical. The first time I was listening to it and I heard like the first verse, I was like, oh no. Like, not like that kind of like R&B stuff is just really not my thing. So I was just like, oh no, like I'm scared now. Like, this doesn't sound like something that I would necessarily vibe with. But as soon as the pre-chorus hit and Patrick started screaming with the aggressive vocals, I was like, okay. Like, my face, like, when that started happening, I was just like, whoa. Like, and I was texting my friend Shay and Courtney, and I was just like, the vocals? Like, what? Like, it honestly, like, that part, like, kind of blew me away. Like, and they're not, like, super clean and super crisp and super perfect. You could just tell it's just Patrick, just, like, being Patrick. I feel like this song could be on his solo album, possibly. But then when you kind of get to the chorus with the drop, it does kind of sound like a different version of Young and Menace, but not really. It's very, like, the style of it is very similar to, like, what they did on Young and Menace and Champion. Obviously, Young and Menace was, I don't know how to say this. I do like Young and Menace. I'm not one of those people that absolutely hates Young and Menace. But I feel like that if they would have done something like this over Young and Menace, it wouldn't have got the reception that it did get. I know there's a lot of people out there that are still very unhappy with this third song after getting, like, you know, the album as a whole, I feel like it's trying to be for everybody. Like, they have, like, an intense song, they have, like, a middle of the ground song, and then they have something that's, like, reminiscent of their new stuff. So the people that are complaining about the third song but are happy with the other two, come on now. Come on, the world doesn't revolve around you. Anyway, Super Fade is probably my least favorite of the three, but I really do enjoy it. And, like, I love the instrumentation in the bridge. Actually, now that I think about it, I think that City in a Garden and Super Fade are tied. Different reasons, I guess. I believe it was Alex D on Twitter. He also has YouTube. I'm sure a lot of you guys are subscribed to him. He posted something very interesting on Twitter this morning about the second verse of Super Fade. Let me read you these lyrics really quick. You know I've got a hole that I try to fill. Sorry. A hole that I try to fill with trophies and lights. I'm so sorry. A hole that I try to fill with trophies and lights. I'm so sorry. My love isn't lost. It's all I've got. I'm surfing on a dopamine high. Sorry. I'm someone you gotta institutionalize. I'm so sorry. I'm someone you gotta institutionalize. I'm so sorry. Oh, my love isn't lost. It's all I've got. And what he interpreted from these lyrics is that this is Pete explaining why he strives for mainstream. And I was that really kind of spoke to me a little bit. I think he nailed that interpretation. Especially when he says, I have a hole that I try to fill, a hole I try to fill with trophies and lights. It sounds like this, to me, this sounds like Pete saying, I'm sorry, but I strive for this, you know, and he knows that it's maybe some sort of issue with him or something, but I didn't even notice that until Alex mentioned that. So shout out to him, because I honestly feel like that's absolutely right, and it makes a lot of sense. And, you know, to know that, you know, Pete, the way Pete still writes stuff is very interesting in the way you think about things, and maybe he knows that that's what a lot of the older fans and possibly even some newer fans, you know, think about him, which is very, very interesting to think about. But overall, I love all three of these tracks. I'm so excited for the Mania second leg US tour. I'm just overwhelmed with emotion. With this, they also announced a bunch of really fun stuff for Chicago. I'll mention that in the next video that I do. But for now, I really hope you guys have a great weekend. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next video.